Hey, welcome back. This is our 1953 Ford Jubilee, the workhorse of our farm. We have 3 tractors. This is the one that we use the most. This tire, besides apparently having a screw in it right here that I didn't even see until just now, is leaking from around the valve stem. As you can see, the bubbles and the rust, probably it was filled with calcium chloride back in the day, which is pretty standard fare for antifreeze in the old days. Now we tend to use antifreeze like you put in cars or RV winterization chemicals. I don't know what those chemicals are. It doesn't really matter. They're not nearly as corrosive as calcium chloride. So we are going to have to get this puppy off. We're going to plug that hole too. But we have inner tubes that we are going to tube this tire. Now, for my astute people that have probably already started making comments, yes, this tire is mounted backwards. When we bought this tractor, it was missing a tire. We bought a tire. It's the wrong side, but the other side had a tire. So we're going to take this off the bead, take it off the rim. I'm not going to be able to weld the rim because I don't have those skills. However, I do have some JB Weld. So we're hoping there's enough metal underneath that rim that we can JB Weld it, and then we can put the inner tube back in it. We might move the valve stem location to a different place, prime it, paint it, bingo bango. All that sounds easy, but we'll see how it goes. So we've got the rim out, or hub, or whatever you want to call it. Pretty easy. 6 bolts. This is a problem. And as you can see, I am 90% sure there's an inner tube already in there. This was my fix the first time because I didn't realize it had rusted through, so we tried to replace the valve. That didn't work. So it's currently still kind of full of water and such. So what we're gonna do is lay it down and break that bead. I have a couple of tools to help me. This is a 36-inch bead breaker bar, allegedly. It's got pries on both sides. You put it down in there, you hit it with a hammer, you break the bead. You can also bash it with a sledgehammer. We're probably gonna end up doing both. I would love to be able to tell you that I did that by hand with hand tools, but that would be a lie. I went to my buddy's house and he lent me a bead breaker, which is this thingamajigger right here. The Harbor Freight version is about 90 bucks. I don't have any idea how much the version is he lent me, but as you can see, we have broken the bead. Finally. Now I have to break it on the other side, and then I have to pull the tire off. Where that rim has roached out with that valve stem, I don't think I'm going to be able to repair, because what I discovered is the valve stem needs a flat piece in the bevel of the rim. Well, I'll show you. So this is the good tire, and this right here, I don't know if you can see, is a flat spot in that bevel. This is the whole part that's missing on my other rim. Now, it's quite possible that JB Weld will hold, but I have another friend who has tractor parts used. So I'm hoping that he has one that will fit. A new rim is about 180 bucks via the big box internet store. And that's not terrible, but I'd rather not spend that if I can get away with it. So now we gotta get the rest of the tire off. All right, well, these guys really came into their own after we broke the bead. breaking the bead on a tire that corroded really required that bead breaking tool. So can it be done by hand without any of those tools? Maybe. I wouldn't have been able to do it. This tire is not in good shape. You can see how trashed this rim is. There's holes everywhere. So I don't know what we're gonna do just yet. I have a lead on another rim, so we might do that. I don't think JB Weld's gonna hold in here, which is a bummer. But we still gotta get the tire back on. So stay tuned, that was only half the fun. Make sure your heart is healthy enough for tractor activity. So we were able to find a used rim on Marketplace. Doesn't quite match. It's got a different center, but that's okay because I have the center out of our other one, which does match. So this tire is useless. So instead of going through all the effort of trying to pry it off and pull it off, we're just gonna Sawzall it off, cut the little bead wire with a grinder wheel, and get ready for mounting our other tire on. So what we've done is wire wheeled it, and then we used Skyco Ospo? I don't know. It contains phosphoric acid. Phosphoric? It contains phosphoric acid. And it actually binds to the iron oxide and creates something else, I don't know. It's super scientific and chemically, but it turns rust back into metal essentially through a chemical process. Unfortunately, it takes like 24 hours to dry. So we're gonna let these bond up. This is the rim off of our old one that matches better. And once all of that has bound back up, we're gonna skim coat parts of it with JB Weld just to make sure it's smooth when you're putting an inner tube into a used tire. You certainly don't want sharp edges on the inside of your rim because you will cut your new inner tube. Now, this takes a lot of time and additional materials and things that I already had laying around, all the tools and the acid and such. So it might be worth, if you're doing this, to just buy a new rim depending on the price and the availability of used ones and the condition of the used ones. If this thing was a plug and play used rim, absolutely, it's worth the price. So you're gonna have to weigh that in mind when you're looking at used tractor parts for used tractors. Do you have the time to get these things right? So we're gonna let this cure up and then we will come back and keep working. Here's our pretty painted up rim. We added some Bondo on the inside just to fill in some of the holes. You can see here where it's a little pitted, so this would not be a good rim to use if you weren't going to tube it because you'd have issues with sealing. But I'm not worried about it because we're gonna tube it. I just didn't want any rough edges, so we put a quick coat of Bondo, a couple layers of primer, and now it's time to put it on. Make sure you get all the water and calcium chloride if you have it in these tires out so you don't continue to have corrosion. Also, make sure you mount it with the treads going in the right direction because I have taken no small amount of flack for one of these tires facing the wrong way, which was not my fault. I bought it used and that's the way it was mounted. I think it was on the other side of the tractor and I put it on the side I needed, which made one of them backwards. So we're gonna make sure we mount it right. We got our tire grease, slather it up on there, see if we can get this thing jammed in there. Well, that feels great. It's been about a 3-day project between going and finding the used tire and then all the painting and sanding and bondoing and stuff. Make sure you have tire mounting paste. I don't care what brand, I don't have any experience. This is the first one I've ever done. But it made sliding everything around so much easier and getting that inner tube in. So when you're putting tractor tires back on, it's a good idea to run it around for a day or two, maybe less, whatever, and come back and double check all your lug nuts, make sure nothing's spinning off, make sure you got everything nice and snug. The other thing you want to do when you're using an inner tube is run it around for a little bit and then deflate it and then reinflate it in case anything in there got crinkled or folded over on itself. If you run it around for a little bit, it will loosen that up and then you can fill it back up again. These are tips from a farmer friend of mine who has done this many times. So this is, don't take my word for it. But it seems to be holding air. It's on. I don't hear any hissing. One of the downsides about tubes is if you puncture this, you're done. You can't patch it. You know, you can't use a tire plug and just go back about your business. One of the benefits of using a tube is even though the inside of this rim had some pitting rust, I don't need it to be a perfect seal because I have the inner tube in there. So this one is now facing the right direction. As you can tell though, it is smaller than the one over there. So at some point in the future, we'll have to bite the bullet and buy the larger rubber, but not today. It also needs ballast in it, and that will be a different video. Not today. Today we are going to run it around for a little while, enjoy it, and then we will worry about ballast another day. My name is Brian. This is Final Farms. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And tune in next time where I find more of my tools laying in the dirt because I'm not good at putting things away, which is what I need to do now. Keep growing as you grow. See you next time. Bye.